We back with that One Piece chapter 1093 review. Man, took a lot of time to edit this joint. I'll appreciate it if you hit that like button and if you hit that subscribe button. We trying to hit 50 likes, 50 subscribers, man. Also, thank you for almost 2K. We moving. Now, if you love One Piece, man, stick around. Let's get into this chapter though. So I'm still starstruck at the idea that Luffy's just casually hanging with an admiral at this point. And I mean, it's gigantic Luffy, right, in Gear 5. And I mean, he's pretty much holding Kizaru like an action figure. Like, imagine a kid with an action figure. It's basically just like that. And the funniest part is that, right, is that when you compare it to how Luffy's interactions with admirals have actually been in previous arcs, I mean, the interactions have gradually worked to this point. It's not like he's gone from 0 to 100. It went from taking an L from Aokiji to running away from Kizaru. Man, Akainu gave this man a whole new tattoo, one that he gonna remember forever. He then went to engaging with Fujitora, to then waiting for Ryukugyu to actually pull up, to now actually going after an admiral, being Kizaru again. So this man has spun the block. Luffy's not even trying to casually throw Kizaru. He's actually winding his arm up. So, you know, he's just going for pure distance. And I mean, honestly, the mess look like they trying to sign him right now. The funniest part of this whole sequence, right, is that Luffy makes probably the most logical move that basically breaks the fourth wall when you think about it. Hear me out. So devil fruit users can fight other devil fruit users, right? And depending on the type of fruit that you have can really give you the advantage in a fight. So for example, when Smoker went against Sabo, that fight pretty much could just go on forever when you think about it. Another example, Luffy versus NL. If Luffy had any other type of fruit that was not rubber, Luffy would have took that L hands down. But of course, we're in the new world now, and of course, one of the biggest factors that can dominate a fight is hockey. Goldie Roger had no fruit, and this man's hockey was nice, so any Loki that came against him or Devil Fruit user felt the sting of his blade. The biggest weakness of Devil Fruit users is the sea. So Luffy decides to throw Kizaru in the ocean. And here's the funny part, right? This man's going for a wind-up too, so he's going for distance and he's going for power. This is like watching a horror movie, right, where one of the side characters decides not to go into the dark alley because they know they're gonna get killed off. And then the moment they choose not to, they don't get killed off. Tell me that's not funny. Atlas is trying to go to the lowest stratum to override the pacifist's current orders, so at least they can work against the Marines. And then now they're trying to do a rescue mission in order to save Bonnie, which Sanji actually wants a piece of. I'm actually pretty interested in this part, right? Because now I'm wondering if this is going to be an opportunity for Sanji to have like a matchup. I mean, Luffy's fighting Kizaru, Zoro's fighting Lucci, and I mean, Sanji's definitely going to go against somebody here. But I mean, I doubt he's going to go against any of the Vice Admirals because at this point in time, they're basically scrubs at this point, in comparison to Sanji and Jinbei. Sentomaru saves Bonnie, and I mean, in between being the punching bag for Rob Lucci and Kizaru, I kind of feel like his role in this arc is, well, pretty much done. He's pretty much asked Luffy to protect Vegapunk, and I mean, he's definitely done in my opinion. Rob Lucci and Zoro have an exchange, and the Rob Lucci disrespect still has just not stopped. Zoro stays disrespecting Rob Lucci, and to be honest, I'm here for all of it, because to tell you the truth, Rob Lucci is definitely just a sucker. Like, I do not like this dude and whatnot, because especially at the fact that, you know, he wants to join up with the Straw Hats, and the moment Kizaru made the move, all of a sudden, that's when he finally had a backbone and whatnot. That's corny. I'm not impressed with that. And then it's crazy, right? Because Zoro states to him, you know, if this is all he's got and whatnot, then I mean, don't worry, I'll handle him right here. The captain ain't even got to deal with this light work or nothing. This is literally the same tone Zoro had with Pika, because Pika was upset because Luffy kept making fun of his voice. And the moment, literally that whole fight between Zoro and Pika was literally just Pika running away And then by the time Zoro cornered him in the air, you know, Pika couldn't do anything, and then he got hit with that hockey. So, I mean, I definitely feel like Rob Lucci's not no scrub to, like, Pika's extent. But I think we all know for a fact that when it comes to Zoro, he's not doing nothing to Zoro. Like, that's pretty much a done deal, hands down. That's like almost stating that Rob Lucci is stronger than King. And King's a first Yonko commander. I like the way Lucci's actually addressing Luffy as an emperor and then addressing Zoro as like the second in command, because it really kind of shows you again just the growth that the Straw Hats have had. Luffy even said it to Kizaru as he was engaging Kizaru in the beginning that they were 100 times stronger. And the fact that they're not even addressing them as pirates, they address them as an emperor's crew. And it's definitely refreshing, and it's nice to see that, because with each arc that's happened, the Straw Hats have progressively gotten stronger to the point where their notoriety has gotten higher. Kizaru recovers, and clearly he doesn't drown. He doesn't even touch the ocean. He just about recovers before he touches it. And I mean, the ocean was definitely not going to take him out, clearly. But another interesting move that he uses against Luffy is actually clones, which we don't actually see him use often. Well, at all, to be frank. We don't really see any Logia types actually use clones when logically they should be capable of that. I know Robin's used some, and another one that actually comes to mind is actually Katakuri, when he would actually use his mochi technique and basically generate like a bunch of fists when he gave Luffy that life-changing fade. And I say life-changing because he learned Future Sight because of it. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that Luffy versus Katakuri fight, god damn, Luffy took a fade. Man, that was crazy. Kizaru distracts Luffy to the point where he makes it back. And to be frank, I genuinely feel sorry for Kizaru because, one, he's definitely not trying to let this mission go. And I get it, he's a Marine, but it's just sad. He almost kind of reminds me of somebody who kind of sold his soul and is now being forced to do things that he doesn't want to do. Because he doesn't even seem like he's even trying to actually fight Luffy. He's just trying to distract Luffy enough to get away and get the mission over and done with and then leave. That's how Kizaru's hitting me right now. Just as Kizaru's about to try and kill Vegapunk, Luffy intercepts him again, and I don't even know what he even does with the light beam at this point. He manages to actually split Kizaru's light beam in multiple directions. And at this point in time, because of how creative Gear 5th can be, we don't know the extent of Luffy's Toon Force abilities. Like, think about it. When he fought Rob Lucci, he spontaneously made goggles just before he landed the finishing attack. And at this point in time, if he can do something like that, really, we don't really know what else he's actually capable of. At this point in time, it's really just the power of imagination. But I mean, one thing I know with Toon Force is that you can't kill with Toon Force. So if we're operating with those rules, the sky's pretty much the limit, except death. But I mean, this is just speculation. Plus, it is One Piece. Oda did actually state that he doesn't like Luffy to actually kill characters because him defeating the characters is more of a crushing blow because they don't get to meet their dreams. And I mean, whenever a death does happen in One Piece, it is like highly significant and it does have a pretty big impact. Not pretty big impact, but a big impact. So Atlas gives the order to every pacifista to eradicate the Marines, and we see in the last panel that J. Garcia Saturn is just staring menacingly. And I mean, to be frank, his presence in the arc has definitely upped the stakes, but at this point in time, I definitely think he's gonna do something. I'm not really entirely sure, but if he wasn't gonna do anything, he wouldn't be in the arc. To wrap up, this was definitely a good chapter and whatnot, and I'm definitely enjoying how Egghead is actually playing out. I genuinely just feel sorry for Kizaru because he just seems like a man who's just doing what he doesn't want to do, and he just feels like he's just being forced to. Like a man who kind of just sold his soul, and now he's just paying the price for it now. The purpose of the arc is for the Straw Hats to get a W as opposed to taking a loss when they were back in Sabaody. So they're fighting to get away, not fighting to defeat the opposition. So I'm definitely interested to see how this actually plays out. But outside of that, that's pretty much all for me, man. But man, like, comment, subscribe, and man, I'll see y'all soon, man. Peace.
my death.